everyone, and welcome to this edition of Houston Theater Beat. I'm your host, John Lazo. In our backstage segment, I'll be joined by local playwright Diana Howie, actor Cameron Cooper, and Mr. Randon Reaves. They're here to give us a look at a fascinating new play by Ms. Howie called Leaving San Jacinto, which features some of the most famous names in Texas history. In performance, we'll share some hilarity with the folks at Upstage Theater, who are hard at work on the 4th annual Festival of Comedy. And our regular features, The Marquee and Harley's Hot Ticket, will get you up to speed on all of the great theater going on right now here in Houston. So let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome to the Backstage segment. I'm here in the studio and I'm being joined today by three very special guests. I'd like to welcome them to Houston Theater Beat. With me are Mr. Randon Reaves, who's the Chairman Emeritus of the Houston Masonic Library and Museum Foundation. I have Ms. Diana Howie, who is the playwright in residence at Country Playhouse, and Cameron Cooper, who's one of our local actors here in Houston. And I'm glad to have them join me today because they have a very special project underway, a brand new play written by Diana, which is called Leaving San Jacinto. And it's a fascinating look at some of the iconic characters from Texas history who are actually characters in the play. And we're going to find out a little bit today about that story, how those characters are being interpreted, and a performance of that play that's coming up very soon at Country Playhouse. All three of you, welcome. Thank you for joining me on Houston Theater Beat today.
I'm pleased to be here.
Absolutely. Let me start with Randon. Could you tell us a little bit about how the idea for Leaving San Jacinto originated and developed? Where did the concept for a show about the Texas historical characters come from? And also, what led you to Diana as the playwright?
At the Museum and Library Foundation, our purpose is to celebrate Masonic involvement in Texas history. As a consequence, we do a lot of Texas history research. One of the things I discovered is right after the battle, President Burnett asked Sam Houston to go sit down and write his recount of the battle. Santa Anna was asked and subsequently wrote his recount of the battle. And I have copies of those. And I said, you know, this would be great to have these characters looking at each other and just reading their recounts of the battle. However, when you put them side by side, they make no sense whatsoever.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to figure out, what did they say to each other? To me, that would be interesting. What did they say? They were on the battlefield 2 weeks after the battle. They got up and talking, have no idea what they would have said to each other. So we decided we wanted to do a play about it. I asked lots of people for recommendations on playwrights. The most recommendations I got was for Diana Howie. And it took me a while to run her down. When I finally made contact, she was in London. I had to wait for her to come back.
Sure.
We sat down, Diana and I talked, and I said, Diana, you got poetic license. Here's the two recounts of the battle. These characters got to have said something to each other. We'd like to do a play about that. So Diana has done an excellent job of bringing that to life.
Fantastic. Just to follow up on that, has the Library and Museum Foundation ever done any kind of a project like this before, or this is a first one-of-a-kind venture for the foundation?
This is kind of a trial balloon for us.
Okay.
If this works as we think it will, and if we're fortunate enough to get plays of the quality that Diane has given us, we're going to make this an every year event. Right after this play, we hope to put this out for a contest for playwrights to submit plays. The winning play will be played the next year.
Fantastic.
So we hope it's an every year event and grows and grows and grows.
Diana, tell us a little bit about the story, the characters, both in terms of, I'm sure you must have done, it's involved a great deal of research, I'm sure, both from the historical significance and also what it was like to be writing about those characters, what the process was like for you.
Okay. First off, I do want to say I did not take the idea from Randon of having the two recounts.
Okay.
Because he also said to me we would like to take this to 7th graders. And I thought, oh dear.
Okay.
That would not play very well. They
Sure.
really need to see some conflict and some complications and do much more of a regular play rather than just recounts. But we did manage to work some of that in, particularly Santa Ana's. I think since the Texans won the battle, their interpretation of what happened there is pretty well known. But Santa Ana's is not, so we do bring that in. There's one third character here that was added, and I think it was actually Randon's suggestion, because so many of the people that were involved in early Texas history are Masons. And there was another one here, Lorenzo de Zavala. And Lorenzo had been very prominent in Mexican politics. And when Santa Anna was elected president, he was a very influential man, almost a right-hand man to Santa Anna. Santa Anna sent him to France as the first ambassador from Mexico to France. And as soon as he arrived in France, Santa Anna declared himself dictator.
Oh.
Which, was not what Zavala was expecting. He
Right.
was expecting a democracy, or a republic. And he resigned and was a wanted man in Mexico, so he came to Texas. So those three people, when I started doing a bit of research, I found out they were all on this boat, leaving the battlefield essentially 2 weeks afterwards. Zavala is vice president of the interim Republic of Texas. Sam Houston is badly injured, and he is leaving. He is no longer a government employee. He is leaving, trying to go get medical help somewhere. And Santa Anna, he is just full of beans. He's been resting for 2 weeks. He's fine. He's almost like a banty rooster, except that he's a prisoner. And they're all three on this boat, which is an historical fact. They're all three on this boat for about a 6 to 7 hour journey going down San Jacinto. So the title, Leaving San Jacinto, is somewhat leaving for a new world, a new time.
Right.
The Republic of Texas is truly being born, right, leaving the battlefield.
Wow.
Writing about these iconic figures, I didn't take it so much iconic as looking for some particulars that would interest the audience in them. Sam Houston had had 2 wives, for instance, but was dying to have a wife and children. The 2 wives were no longer with him, and he had other things in life that he wanted, and he had just passed a horrendous last 3 months or so with this winning Texas freedom.
Sure.
And he was much more philosophical by this time. Zavala was in a brand new place. He was in Texas, and cabinet member, and did not want to be with Santa Anna, who wanted him dead. So it's some interesting conflict on board this ship.
Evidently.
Yes.
We take it for granted sometimes, I think, that we read about these gentlemen, and yet we forget that they were real human beings with real lives and situations going
That's
on.
right.
So that's fascinating.
And I think it's one of Randon's ideas that, and he didn't tell you nearly as much about himself or how he's been thinking about this project. I think he told me one time he'd been thinking about it for 7 years, of bringing history to life by being able to see them and hear about them and get involved with them other than just dates and battles and numbers of people killed.
Sure.
But hear what they think about those soldiers out on the battlefield that are dead.
Wow, that's phenomenal, incredible. Cameron, I have to ask you, actor to actor, this has got to be thrilling for you to be playing Sam Houston.
Oh yeah, it's very exciting. I enjoy looking at the giant statue on 45 North.
Right.
Whenever we go by it.
As do we all. Everybody driving home from Dallas always let you know you're home when you pass the statue. What has the experience been like for you playing Sam Houston?
Well, it's a situation where there's actually a real person that you can know. And a lot of times in acting, you are creating a character from scratch or what the playwright gives you, because they're completely fictional. But Sam Houston, I can go back and look in the history. He has his own poetry, which Diana has included some of in the play.
Wow.
There's recorded speeches of Sam Houston. We have one of those in the play. So there's a lot of stuff to draw on that I'm continually learning as we work on the show. and I'm also trying to look a little bit like Sam as much as I can.
Right.
I'm starting on the sideburns,
Hence the sideburns.
which are fairly famous.
Sure. Diana, there is a performance of the play that's coming up at Country Playhouse.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could give the Houston Theater Beat audience information about that production of the play. And also, you and Randon were telling me earlier that there is a musical performance that's going to precede that, which sounded fascinating. So either one of you want to tell about the musical group that's going to be
Now,
playing?
you've seen him play.
Yes.
Right. Who are they, Randon?
They're the Lone Star Cowboys. They're part of the Speakers Committee of the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Group. And they've played several places that we've had little events. We gave a dinner inside the San Jacinto Monument, and they played for that. And they do very good period music. As a matter of fact, the culmination of their event is one of the performers, Michael Butler, he says Travis's letter. And when he finishes, everyone's just almost in tears. He does such a beautiful job of that. But they will be doing historical music of the period leading into the play.
Fantastic. And that's part of the production. That comes
That's
immediately before the production at CPH.
That's right.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about the dates and times?
Surely. Actually, the Lone Star Cowboys will be the very start of the play at Country Playhouse. The play itself, it comes in at about 60 minutes because we wrote it so that it could also go to 7th graders and school audiences, school matinees. So for the 4 performances at Country Playhouse, which are February 28th, March 1st, March 2nd, and March 3rd, we will have the Lone Star Cowboys playing right at the start, and then the play will begin.
Fantastic.
Incidentally, John, March 2nd is Texas Independence Day.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Randon. Don't forget that March 2nd is Texas Independence Day, and that would be an excellent day to go and see Leaving San Jacinto at CPH and have it as part of your Texas Independence Day celebration. Absolutely. Diana, what's the best way for the audience to get tickets to come see the show? The CPH website?
CPH website at countryplayhouse.org or at the phone number 713-467-4497 for box office.
Very good. Don't forget, the CPH website address is www.countryplayhouse.org. Make sure you get your tickets for the upcoming production of a brand new play. What could be more exciting than that? A world premiere of Diana Howie's Leaving San Jacinto, dealing with all kinds of wonderful characters from Texas history, and featuring Cameron Cooper, and also being sponsored, of course, by the Houston Masonic Museum. And I'd like to really thank my guests, all 3 of you, for coming in today, Mr. Randon Reaves, Diana Howie, and Cameron Cooper. And stay tuned, we'll be back with more of the show in just a moment. Theater Southwest presents Critics' Choice. This bright and witty comedy tells the story of theater critic Parker Ballantine, whose second wife, Angela, writes a play which is produced on Broadway. The play is awful, and Parker must decide whether or not to review the play honestly. Add an opinionated mother-in-law, a precocious child, an ex-wife, and a gregarious director, and the result is classic comedy. Critics' Choice runs from February 22nd through March 10th at Theater Southwest. Broadway at the Hobby Center presents Jersey Boys. This is the story of how 4 blue-collar kids became one of the greatest successes in pop music history, the 4 Seasons. They wrote their own songs, invented their own sounds, and sold 175 million records worldwide, all before they were 30. Jersey Boys features their hit songs Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, Ragdoll, Oh What a Night, and Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. Jersey Boys runs from March 13th through March 31st at the Hobby Center. Unity Theater presents Night Mother. This eloquent, profoundly moving drama tells the story of Jessie and her mother, Thelma, who live together in a small, isolated country house, and the events of one shattering evening. With humor and pathos, Night Mother digs deeply into family dynamics when Jessie makes a stunning announcement. winner of the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize and the Pulitzer Prize for Drama, Night Mother runs from April 4th through April 14th. Remember, show dates and times are subject to change, so please visit each theater's website for details. We'll see you at the show. I'm here at Lambert Hall with the folks from Upstage Theater. I'm being joined right now by Sean K. Thompson, who's the artistic director of Upstage, Rebecca Bernstein, who's one of the directors, Susan Knapp, who's also one of the directors, and David James Barron, who is an actor in their upcoming production, The Festival of Comedy. And I wanted to find out a little bit from Sean about the Festival of Comedy, and then we'll talk to the directors and the actors and find out a little bit more about the scenes that are involved. Sean, tell the Houston Theater Beat audience a little bit about the Festival of Comedy, how it originated and has evolved, and some of the focus that you're doing this year for the event.
Absolutely. This is the 4th annual. This is our 4th time we've done this. It started off as a local playwriting festival, a little competition, submissions coming in from Houston area playwrights. We choose the top 4 and put them on in a full production. Just comedic one-act pieces, about 20 minutes each. Last year, we're getting ready for our 3rd annual. When we put out the word, we accidentally left out the phrase local playwrights, and we got hundreds of submissions all over the nation, and actually all over the world. And we thought, well, what the hey, let's just open it up. So we read through 200 and some odd scripts, picked the top 4, put those on. We have this year, same thing. We received hundreds of submissions, chose the top 5. It was just so funny, we had to go with 5 this year.
That's great. That's great. So there are 5 pieces in the evening, and each one is directed by a different director.
Right. What I wanted to do this year is open it up to new directing talent and new acting talent in the Houston area. And so I talked to Rebecca, who was assistant directed for me before, Susan, her husband Gene, and some other directors. And their first real experience of directing a piece is 20 minutes long. It's not overwhelming. They're able to get their feet wet and really kind of punch their directing ticket.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Rebecca, tell us the audience a little bit about the piece that you're doing, what it's called, and who wrote it, and what it's about.
I'm doing this piece called The Stand-In by Brett Hersey, and it's basically about this girl who's auditioning for repertory theater, and the director that's auditioning her has her read her scenes with a sock puppet.
Oh.
It happens that he's way more talented than she is. So, things spiral out of control.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who wrote your piece?
Brett Hersey.
Okay.
I hear he's a lesson though.
Okay, that's fine. Sticking on that. And Susan, you're directing one of the pieces as well. Tell us a little bit about your piece, and also, from what I understand, you are co-directing the piece with your husband. And I have to ask about what it's been like for the two of you to work together.
Well, luckily we worked really well together. Sean came to me a couple of months ago, or about a month ago, and said, "Hey, I really would like you to do this." And I said, "Oh, I just can't do this without my husband." And I said, so could you go and maybe ask him and see if he wants to do it with me? Because if I asked him, he would have said no. But when Sean asked him, of course he said yes. It's nice because he's a kind of a shy person anyway, so it's really opened him up, and made him come out of his shell quite a bit.
Oh, good. That's excellent. And it's good that the two of you enjoy working together.
Yes, absolutely.
What is your piece, and who wrote it, and what's it about?
The piece is called Anything Can Happen. It's written by Carrie Pepper. The play is based around basically like a depressed housewife who is on pills. And David here is our lead male role. He plays Milo, who comes in as a magazine salesman. And of course, she's not having a very good day. Milo just wants to sell magazines, and it goes from just wanting to sell magazines to the police showing up. There's a fake shooting, and it just escalates from there. It's a lot of fun.
Gosh, it sounds like it. David, what's the acting experience been like? And which scenes are you in, and who are you playing, and what is your experience?
In Scratch Off, I play Martin.
Sijan Smythe.
Yes, his last name to be announced. We're still kind of working on that, but directed by Sean. And then the other piece is Anything Can Happen, directed by Susan and Jean. And I play Milo in that. And it's been a mix of working with total new to the acting experience actors to veteran actors. And of course, it's been fun, the whole 9 yards. You know, we laugh, we cut up, and then we work, which is laughing and more cutting up. So it's just been a great experience.
Well, what we're going to be seeing now is a little scene from Scratch Off, which was written by Scott Tobin, and that piece is actually directed by Sean K. Thompson, who's the artistic director at Upstage Theater, and that scene features David James Barron as in one role, and also Miss Ann Boyd.
That's all I'm saying is we're not going to make rent this month.
Mama, I picked up a couple of extra routes. You worry about this each and every month.
I worry about it because we're scrambling around like a tuck of trapped rats. We can't go on living like this.
Ah.
And I don't know why you keep making me buy these stupid scratcher lotto tickets. It's good money that could go toward food.
I quit smoking and I need something.
You're using lotto tickets to replace smoking? That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard.
Get off me, Mama. It's just a couple of bucks you gotta lay out.
It's just a couple of bucks that just add up. Ugh. Shit. And it's the adding up that we need to do to get out of the hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you all right there, Billy boy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just fine. Now, what were we saying?
We were talking about lottery tickets.
Yeah.
That last one, David, I mean, Billy boy, is everything okay with that last lottery ticket?
Yeah, Mama. Everything's fine. Now, what were we saying?
Well, can I see that lottery ticket?
What do you want to go and do that for? You never looked at my lotto tickets before.
Well, you never put one in your pocket before. You must be doing something different tonight. Well, it must be a special night. I feel like doing something different too. Like looking at that lottery ticket.
I think we should go back to sticking to the story because that's what we're here to do.
Well, technically, I did buy you that lottery ticket, so technically I can look at it.
Well, technically, you were not the one to buy me the lotto ticket, if you know what I mean. Somebody altogether different bought that lotto ticket. However, the fact is, the lotto ticket wound up in my hands.
Well, isn't that terribly convenient for you, Billy boy?
We've gone way off-road with the story here.
I don't care for four-wheeling and a Hummer across the
Sean, tell the Houston Theater Beat audience the dates and times of the show and the ticket prices and how they can get tickets.
Absolutely, John. The 4th Annual Festival of Comedy runs from February 15th to March the 2nd. Opens right after Valentine's Day. What says I love you better than 2 tickets to a festival of comedy?
Absolutely.
Runs Friday and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. We have a special Sunday matinee at 2 p.m. on Sunday, February the 24th. Ticket prices, are you ready? Can I get a drum roll, please? $10. How can you beat 5 original comedies, 2 solid hours of just live entertainment in 3D? Right?
And HD.
High def 3D for $10 a ticket.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So you cannot miss the Festival of Comedy at Upstage Theater. And also tell us the website address so they can go there and get tickets.
Absolutely. It's www.upstagetheater with an RE.org. That's upstagetheater.org.
Good. And that should be crawling right across the bottom of your screen
Wow.
right now.
Look at that.
Yes, notice it. Right. So that's www.upstagetheater.org. Make sure you get your tickets to come and join all of the folks with Upstage Theater for this is the 3rd annual? Fourth annual Festival of Comedy, and that's here at Lambert Hall in the Heights. I'd like to thank my guests for this segment. Sean K. Thompson, who's the artistic director at Upstage Theater, Rebecca Bernstein, who's directing in the Festival of Comedy, as is Susan Knapp, who's co-directing with her husband Gene, who's busy rehearsing even as we speak, and David James Barron, who's acting here in the Festival of Comedy. Stay tuned for more of the show coming up. Harley's Hot Ticket is, of course, our spotlight on the one show this month that you cannot miss. And there's no doubt that Harley's choice for this segment certainly fits the bill. Theater Under the Stars, Houston's largest nonprofit musical theater company, is presenting what promises to be an enthralling production of the beloved classic musical, The Man of La Mancha. Windmills beware, as the whimsical, fabled Don Quixote once again aims for the impossible dream in his quest to become a legend in his own mind. Drama ensues as Don Quixote embarks on a noble quest to win the favor of his lovely muse, Dulcinea. Beloved on Broadway, to the tune of 5 revivals and 5 Tony Awards, this play within a play is an actor's dream of expression, moving audiences to laugh, lust, and love, along with the classic larger-than-life characters. If you've seen a Tuts production before, you know the extraordinary quality that is the hallmark of everything that they present. And if you've never seen a Tuts production before, Man of La Mancha would be the perfect opportunity for your first experience. Man of La Mancha runs from February 26th through March 10th at the Hobby Center. For tickets and information about the show, visit the Tuts website at www.tuts.com. That's all for this edition of Houston Theater Beat. I'm your host, John Lazo, and until next time, I'll see you at the show.